My name is Wendy Summers, and I work as a radio talk show host and a marketing consultant for News Radio 1620 in Pensacola, Florida. A typical day for me starts at about 8 o'clock in the morning. That's when I get in, and my actual show doesn't start until 9 a.m. So from 8 to 9, I'm getting ready for my show and getting ready for whatever guests I'm going to have in. The talk show that I have is called the Pensacola Expert Panel. So the guests that come in are actually paid advertisers most of the time that have a chance to talk about their business, what they do, and sometimes they're really, really well-spoken and good, and other times not. So some clients need a little bit more prompting, a little bit more help, so that has a lot to do with how much time I spend getting prepped for my show for that particular day. And then I'm off the air at 11. The show is from 9 to 11. Okay, I'm off the air at 11, and then from 11 till about 5:30 or 6, the rest of my day, I spend out marketing, trying to sell this show and also sell like 60-second commercials for the radio station. So a typical day starts out at 8 a.m. From 8 to 9, I'm in my cubicle, and I'm trying to get things done and prepared for my show. Then I walk through the door, and there's already a show going on here. The morning show actually starts at 5:30 in the morning, and it ends at 9 a.m. So the shift change is kind of interesting because I'm coming in, and this is where I sit. I sit here with my board and the computers, and the emergency operations system is right here. And this is where I sit every day to do my job. Now the morning show has a producer. So this is where the producer sits, and we have basically about 3 minutes for him to get out of here and for me to get in here and get my guests settled in. And it's kind of interesting in the morning. If you're the 9 o'clock guest of the show, you get to see a lot of, I don't know if you'd call it excitement, or sometimes it's a frenzy, or whatever you want to call it. But it's a lot of fun, and I love that part of my job. The part of my job on the air from 9 to 11 is my favorite. The requirements for working as a talk show host really are experience first, which is hard to get experience unless you have some kind of coursework in communication, journalism, even somewhat like at a theater major or voice major, because one of the things, if you're going to be a broadcaster, you can't, and it's kind of tough, you have to talk from your diaphragm, because the way you project your voice is very important. And some people, not all people, are cut out for broadcasting. And we'll talk a little bit about that later, of other aspects of the radio business that you can do. But the requirements really are that you take some communication classes, some broadcasting classes, learn how to work this board. This board is very complicated, and it looks a little daunting and scary at first, but it's really not. And proper training, you'll get on-the-job training as well, but you're going to have a much better chance of landing a job in radio if you have some of those journalism classes, some communication classes, and broadcasting classes. You used to have an FCC license, and they have done away with that now. So you don't have to worry about that. There's no license that you as an individual need. Your radio station, of course, needs a license to broadcast, but you yourself will not need a license if you want to come and work in radio. The best and worst parts of the job, I have a unique position here at News Radio 1620 in that I do a talk show every day from 9 to 11, like I mentioned, but I also am a marketing consultant, which means I go out and I'm on the street and I'm doing cold calls and sales to try to encourage businesses to come and do a show with me. So I'm essentially selling my show. And that's the part of the job that is, I'm not a salesperson per se. I'm more of a broadcaster, and that's what I've done all my life. So this position here that I've been doing now for 3 years with a talk show and having this marketing aspect is been a little frightening. I don't like asking people for money, but I will say this. Obviously, my favorite part about the job is I get to meet new people. Every day, I have people sitting in front of me. They're telling me about their business and what they do, and I'm learning about how to fix boats, and I'm learning about personal injury. I have a personal injury attorney on. I have a veterinarian on Monday morning. So I'm learning all these different things about what other people do in our community, and I really enjoy that. The selling part is a little difficult. However, the good part about that is it adds a little extra money to my paycheck. Because I will tell you that one of the parts about broadcasting, especially when you're getting started, is you're not going to be making tons of money. People that get in broadcasting are doing it for the love of broadcasting. And it is something that's, you're not going to make tons of money until you get into a bigger market. Some words of final advice I would have for someone who's looking into a career of broadcasting is, when you go to apply for that job, know the station that you're applying. Know what they do. If you're going to apply at a news talk station, make sure you know about newsy things. Is it a local? Is there a local morning show? You need to make sure you're reading the paper and you know about local events. Obviously, if you're going to go apply for a rock music station, you need to know about rock bands and you need to know up and coming events and concerts. But know who you're applying for, because the worst thing that can happen to you is to go into a station and it's a country station and you had no idea it was a country station and you don't know anything about country music. So you see, that would definitely not be beneficial to you getting that job. So just make sure you know where you're applying. Take those public speaking courses. They're going to teach you how to, speak correctly. There is something to be said for speaking from the diaphragm and learning how to speak. Another thing is, when you do get the job, and they'll teach you these things, and you'll learn some of these things as you go on through broadcasting school, is always know who your audience is. I work in news talk radio. My audience is 40-year-old to 60-year-old males and some females. I don't need to be talking about stories about 25-year-old women who just had their first baby and are nursing. That's not going to interest anybody that's listening to our radio station. So know who your audience is. Getting involved in theater and local drama performances also kind of helps you, especially in TV, because it helps you get away from that shyness of the camera. So if you're doing radio, it will definitely help you, but at TV it would especially help. And finally, if you're in high school or college, a really great foot in the door is to go volunteer. Go to a radio station and say, hey, I have 5 hours a week that I would love to come and help gather stories, or go out and be the man on the street. Anything. By volunteering, you're showing them that you want to get in the business and that you want to work. And then of course the next step when you are in school is that you can intern. You can intern to come in and learn the ropes in an actual job situation. And I think that would make you a lot more comfortable, and it's a great job. It's a fun job. It's hard work, but I really think that you'll enjoy it.